If you think that mods are just for PCs, then think again. For decades, creative gamers have been slicing, dicing, and reassembling their consoles into new, although not always improved shapes. With the next generation of consoles looming, we thought we'd go through some of the best and worst console mods that we have ever seen. Sony and Microsoft take notes. Have you ever wished you had 11 gaming consoles, a computer, and a state-of-the-art sound system all contained in a portable, autonomous R2-D2 shaped shell that also had a projector to broadcast your games onto any bare wall? Well, look no further. An engineer named Brian DeVitis has got you covered. DeVitis says that what makes my R2-D2 gaming droid unique is that it has 11 video game consoles, a computer, a sound system, and a video projector all housed in the body of R2. What on earth made him want to build such a thing? Did he just wake up one day with a light bulb over his head? Well, kinda. Back in college, I had 3 video game consoles, he said. There were a lot of wires behind the TV and a lot of switching to get between them, and I thought it was a hassle. And voila, the all-in-one R2-D2 gaming hub was born. But he cautions other young fans of Star Wars and video games, saying that making a mobile, all-inclusive entertainment droid is more work than it's worth. It took 3 years to build and a lot of learning along the way, he said. I did the majority of the work on R2 during the last 3 years of my undergraduate degree. It was a time when I was still learning a lot and my engineering capabilities were not fully developed. Since then, I have grown a lot in my understanding of good engineering practices, so much so that I would never recommend anyone build an R2-D2 like this one. Even if DeVitis won't make another, maybe someone else will. This year is the 25th anniversary of Sony, so maybe instead of giving us backwards compatibility on the PS5, they could just bundle all their consoles into a giant C3PO replica. If you never had an Xbox 360, you might be confused by this one. Although it may seem like a mod that only a meteorologist would truly appreciate, this might actually be the only one on the list that's truly useful. Within weeks of its release, the 360 became infamous for some technical problems. One is the red ring of death. Different configurations of red lights on the front of the console could signify all sorts of different technical problems. The most common was signaled by 2 red lights, meaning that the console had overheated. That overheating problem is the reason for the 360's second most famous characteristic, the fan. It was so loud that after playing your Xbox for a few hours, turning it off felt like stepping out of a nightclub into a quiet night. Thankfully, one modder found a simple solution. He just put a thermometer in it. The thermometer is hooked up to a string of LEDs which light up in different colors to let you know how hot it is and when you should give your poor little Xbox a break. The Wii, on the other hand, wasn't powerful enough to get hot. But that didn't stop a guy named Martin Nielsen from adding some cool-down technology to his. He turned it into an outrageous sci-fi rig called the Wii Unlimited Edition. It's all made of aluminum with a transparent box in the middle through which you can see all the circuitry behind high-tech games like Wii Sports, as well as the disc itself. On each side of the box is a tank full of coolant, which gets pumped back through the box in the middle to keep it from overheating. Even if it's technically useless, it does look pretty cool. Speaking of useless cool, 2 different modders have given their consoles the same home appliance makeover. One is an NES and the other is a PS2, but they are both toasters. The NES, or the Nintoaster, is a sleek 1950s looking model with the toast slots repurposed. One is to insert the game cartridge, the other is to plug in your controllers. The PS2 version is a lot more unassuming. It actually just looks like a toaster, but press the eject button and the disc tray slides right up out like a piece of toast. But not all mods are real. Last year, a lot of people were fooled by a guy claiming to be a former NASA engineer who had quit his job to follow his dreams of making an outrageous modded controller. He promised to take vibration to the extreme with his mod, called the Mega 1. He started a Kickstarter which he introduced with the following blurb. We think that games are awesome, but we want to really experience them in a way that we can't do today. We want to feel the game, and that's what the Mega 1 is all about. Instead of a power button, the design has a jet fighter ignition switch. On the bottom is a motor which is apparently approximately 500 times stronger than the DualShock or Xbox One controller. The motor is connected to a, quote, industrial-grade vibrator, which promises to take your immersion to the next level. Imagine playing your favorite FPS or racing game with the Mega 1, they say. Each bullet you fire recoils the controller back at you. Each turn you take in your getaway car jerks your hands from left to right as you fight to stay in control. And he doesn't just situate it within the history of games, but all of human history, saying Mega 1 is by far the most insane, over-the-top PlayStation 4/Xbox One controller mod in the entire history of Homo sapiens. Yes, we are crazy excited about this project, and a lot of other people were excited about the project too. The Kickstarter was backed by 35 people, donating an average of $163 each, a grand total of $5,724. Kickstarter eventually caught on and ended up suspending the project, but we wonder what happened with the money. A lot of technology is developed for military use before it gets into the hands of regular consumers. But sometimes this happens backwards. The American Navy recently upgraded the old-fashioned periscopes on their submarines to what they call Photonic Masks, which are pretty much just digital periscopes. High-resolution cameras mounted on top of the submarines that can rotate 360 degrees. When they first introduced them, the cameras were controlled by helicopter-style sticks, but these turned out to be clunky and unintuitive. So the commanding officer of a submarine called the USS Colorado decided to implement something more familiar: Xbox controllers. Pretty much everyone already knows how to use an Xbox controller, so why not just take advantage? Author and military technology expert P.W. Singer said that we already have this generation that's already trained up in their use. So why would we try to use different systems that we've had to train them how to utilize? But that's not the only reason the military is ditching their more traditional controls. The Xbox controller is comparatively a lot cheaper. Senior Chief Mark Eckenlob says that if the controller breaks, I can go to any video game store and procure an Xbox controller anywhere in the world, so it makes a very easy replacement. Before cloud gaming promised to take games off of our TVs and put them right into our hands, modders were already taking next-gen portable gaming into their own hands. There's the portable Wii, which, aside from the novelty of having a MacBook-sized Wii, is a little bit small, especially if you're using motion controls. There's a portable Atari 2600, a portable Xbox, a portable PS1, 2, and 3, and even a portable version of the NES that's housed inside of an NES cartridge. As a tribute to the console wars and Marvel's Civil War, a YouTuber named Eddie Zarek has made opposing laptop versions of the PS4 and Xbox One. Each laptop has a 22-inch 1080p display connected to its base, which somehow houses a whole console. The PS4 laptop is Iron Man themed. It's got an Android tablet built in that interacts with the PlayStation OS and makes it look very Stark Industries and high-tech. When you turn it on, you even get a little greeting from Jarvis, Iron Man's tech butler. The Captain America X-Book 1 looks like a military-grade briefcase for Steve Rogers. It's got vents in the shape of stars, the famous shield on the back, and also a built-in capture card. But not all mods are an upgrade. Some ideas, no matter how good they sound when you first come up with them, just do not pan out in the end. There's the Xbox 360 in the driver's seat of a car mod. As you can see, someone had the bright idea of tweaking their Suzuki so that instead of having a horn in the middle of the steering wheel, there's an Xbox controller. The radio has been replaced by the console itself and moved into the glove compartment. To actually play the game, you take out the controller, turn on the console, and open the trunk where there's a TV waiting. This one isn't a disaster by any means, it just looks a little off. It looks the same as a Wii, but with a hole carved in its side. The hole, it turns out, is for inserting N64 cartridges. So although it looks like a Wii, it's actually just an N64. And it's sold on eBay for only $50. And then this one has to be my personal favorite. Don't want to buy a console and an expensive TV? Well, this Xbox 360 is both. Instead of making a laptop, someone had the not-so-bright idea of putting a tiny little screen on the side of an Xbox. The most common mods are also the least invasive. The ones that are less like a game of operation and more like a paint-by-numbers kit. The ones that only take some screwdrivers and a few cans of spray paint. The Cosmetic Mods. This category is pretty much infinite. There are Halo dioramas on top of Xboxes, polka dot Yoshi themed N64s, a PS4 in the middle of a reedy Ghost Recon Marsh, even a PlayStation made of Lego. But there are thousands of these, so go explore. So now that we've gone through the best and worst console mods, what do you think? Should any of these designs be incorporated into the PS5 or the Xbox Series X? If so, let us know in the comments and subscribe to The Gamer for all the latest.